In 2009, we made history with the election of President Barack Obama. He called us to service as there remains much work to do to end unemployment, poverty, and crime in our communities. There's so many books on how we can accomplish this. But this year, everyone's raving about this summer's hottest new book, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America by Chicago's own Emmanuel Barbee. A graduate of Northeastern Illinois University, Barbee addresses key ways we back our families and communities. But unlike so many other books on this topic, Barbee captivates his reader, presenting solutions through a riveting life story. It's entertaining, it's different, it's exciting. The perfect book club selection. Don't be left out. Get your copy of The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America. Order today at Amazon.com.
Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos online podcast. I am your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I created this podcast to connect with other like-minded, progressive African Americans, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Caribbeans within the United States and throughout the African diaspora. This podcast is open to all Christian denominations, millennials, non-Black sympathizers, moderate Muslims, and secular people who are concerned about solving social issues within the Black community. I'm using this podcast as a platform for ordinary law-abiding citizens on my friends list and people who are in my social groups that are emerging artists, allied health professionals, church leaders, and upcoming entrepreneurs, for them to promote their products and services to my listeners in the podcast community. This live 1-hour talk show focuses on promoting grassroots advocacy, business, finance, health, community-based solutions, and spirituality, which speaks to the interests of my listeners. This show will provide insight on how our creative abilities can be used to create tangible change in our urban communities. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos is an extension of the grassroots community activist movement. Before I go into my presentation, I'm going to share a segment from Pastor Jamal Bryant, one of his sermons, which coincide with my presentation. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to finish off this presentation. So here it is.
I want to talk about, if I can, the contamination, or if I can, the American court system being in contempt. Tomorrow, while it is Father's Day, I have to do double duty. I am, for those of you who do not know, I'm a third generation AME, and AME churches all over the country tomorrow are having a moment of silence and pause, as today, today is the second year anniversary of the Emmanuel 9. 2 years ago today, Dylan Roof walked into the church of Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, sat in the basement for Bible study, back to his car, came back in to the fellowship hall, unloaded his weapon, killed the pastor, the assistant pastor, and a group of leaders who were in Bible study, and drove off. And you know by now, he was arrested by the police and stopped at Burger King on the way back because he hadn't eaten. Allow me a moment, if I can. That we're 2 years later. President Obama gave the eulogy, my father was the presiding officiant. Every media outlet in the world was there. And we had made a pledge that we were actually going to make America great for the first time. And my media team has been preparing all day for us to do a memorial tribute to those 9 in our worship. And while we were doing that, a friend of mine sent me a list that I wanted to share with you. Monday, I'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, sharing and standing with that community. And I want you to hear this before I give commentary. Philando Castile, killed on Facebook Live, no conviction. Terrence Crutcher, killed on live television, no conviction. Sandra Bland, killed with missing tapes from a jail cell, no conviction. Eric Gardner, killed, murdered, watch this, and we have it on tape, no conviction. Michael Brown, Ferguson, just 3 months away from being the very first member of his family to go to college, killed. Makia Boyd, killed, no conviction. Sean Bell, killed, no conviction. Tamir Rice, killed, no conviction. Freddie Gray, killed, no conviction. Oscar Grant, killed, no conviction. Ayanna Jones, killed, no conviction. Marley Graham, killed, no conviction. Amadou Diallo, killed, no conviction. Trayvon Martin, killed, no conviction. John Crawford III, killed, no conviction. Jonathan Farrell, killed, no conviction. Timothy Stansberry Jr., killed, no conviction. Our court system is in peril. It's in peril. It doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be built over. Great writer said you can't fix something that was intended not to work. The question that I've got to ask you, do we go on just making new t-shirts? Do we just take another protest, another march? Or is it time for us to do something a little bit more different? Something of greater impact? My sister, I was lamenting to my biological sister, Dr. Tamer Brian Davis, clinical psychologist. She works with sexual trauma victims in Los Angeles as a professor at Pepperdine. And I was talking to her about the list that I just gave to you. And she said, Jamal, if you stop there, the argument and the conversation is incomplete. That the further evidence that the system is in fact broken is the mistrial of Bill Cosby. I said, wait, Tamer, what do you mean? She said, Jamal, do you understand what blow that does to sexual assault victims? That you can find absolutely nothing. My sister argued that the same court system that has failed Black America at large has failed women and has failed victims of sexual assault. So you can't just deal with it in terms of social justice, and you do not in fact talk about equity. You do not talk about protection under the law. And all of it has to be revisited and has to be reevaluated. She and I had this exchange, had this dialogue, had this conversation. And I said to her, Taylor, do you not realize where we are in history? She said, what do you mean? I said, do you know what Monday is? She said, no, not in particular. It's the 19th. Monday is Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth. And it is the holiday that we don't honor, we don't recognize, we don't celebrate. Negroes are walking around on March 17th, dressed up as leprechauns, wearing green, bringing green punch into work, remembering St. Patrick's Day, but not nary mention about Juneteenth. June 19th, 1865, hey, to those of you who are watching in Texas, is that they finally got the news 2 years late that they were free. Several different theories have come about as to why it took 2 years. One suggests that the messenger was sent from the north to deliver the message that they were free. And before he could deliver that message, he is killed. Another theory argues and suggests is that the plantation owners knew it, but suppressed the information because they wanted to squeeze out as much free labor as they possibly could. It took 2 years for the residents in Texas, the black residents in Texas, to know that they were free. They didn't find out till 1865, when in fact it was signed January 1st, 1863. My dear friends, activists, colleagues, I got to ask you, 2 years after the killing of the Emmanuel 9, do we finally wake up and say, what are we going to do? Something has to happen. I argue with you on tonight that yes, protests have its place, but at some point, we've got to have 3 prongs, from protests to policy to purchasing. $1.3 trillion of spending power, and yet we do nothing. What would happen if we recalibrated our efforts, our energy, and our focus? That we would in fact look at that we are not a minority, but we are in fact a looming majority. That with $1.3 trillion of spending power, it would make us the 12th wealthiest nation in the world. Black Panther Party used to give the cry, it's nation time. That we've got to do nation building. What are we doing? Other than being professional consumers and amateur producers. It's my hope, it is my aim going into Minneapolis on Monday to meet with the family of our dear brother Castile and to work with those who are already on the ground. That we would, in fact, come up with an economic agenda. Because 2 years from now, I don't want us to be in the exact same place. I'm tired of lighting candles that we bought from somebody who's trying to blow out our flame. Right there, in Minneapolis, is the headquarters for Target. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just asking you. That is the headquarters for Target. Maybe, just maybe, I'm throwing it out there. It's not an announcement. I'm just thinking out loud. That maybe we should stop going to Target until black people stop being a target. Maybe, just maybe, that the ask should be that those who are at Target, not even on a national stage, but right there in Minnesota, should help finance and fund all that would be needed and necessary for lobbying so that we might, in fact, change the laws right there in Minnesota. All politics is local. We would start, again, I'm thinking out loud, this is not an announcement, on Juneteenth, go to July the 4th, hear this, July the 4th, so that we can, in fact, ring true the words of Frederick Douglass, this is not our 4th of July, because we're still not free, and we still don't have independence. Pastor, what would be the end goal in this? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have all the answers. I'm just a little preacher in Baltimore. Maybe July 4th is too soon. Maybe we extend it to July 6th. Why? Because July 6th is the day they killed our dear brother right there in Minneapolis. Without a plan, we're just daydreaming. And at this point, Dr. King's dream has turned into a nightmare. Tomorrow at my church, I can't speak for your church, for your ministry, but I've got to have a conversation with our congregants in terms of what are we going to do in terms of economic development? What are we going to do about selective spending? What are we going to do about selective shopping? What are we going to do that if, in fact, we're going to take those funds away from Target, if we just pour it all back in to Walmart, what would we have accomplished? But if we take all of that money we would spend at Target and pour it back into black businesses, now we're on a whole different street, a whole different place. I've been saying for the last year, something is wrong with the church that only talks about money when it's time to tithe. I'm asking you for your 10%, but never lend direction about what to do with that, with your 90%. You're being ill-advised and you're being poorly led. I am not a fan of the movie All Eyes on Me, but I appreciate a particular scene by which the mother says to Tupac, you don't even know you're a leader. You've got to stop what it is that you're doing and lead. Don't make them dance. Make them move. And I want to take the words of Afeni Shakur, what she said to her son Tupac at the age of 23. I'm not talking to rappers, I'm talking to preachers. You gotta lead. Stop making them just dance and give them direction. Give them instruction. Show them options and opportunities. I do not feign to have all of the answers. I do suggest I'm tired of all the questions. So let's do something. Juneteenth is coming. How late are you going to be before you wake up? It's going to take another 2 years and another list of casualties of those who were killed, watch this, while in power. You got to make up in your mind, are you going to be a victim or a victor? I saw an interview by Tupac Shakur's mentor from when he was in jail, and it has riveted me. Here's what the mentor claims to have been quoted from Tupac. He said Tupac came to him one day in jail and said to him, I know I'm going to die, and I know I'm going to die early. I just got to figure out, am I going to die like Scarface, or am I going to die like Malcolm X? My dear friends, if we in fact put it under a scriptural canopy, those leprous men who were standing outside of the gate, they inquired amongst themselves, why sit ye here gazing? We sit here, we're going to die. We go into the city, we may die, or we may find out what we're going to have to do. Let's make a critical decision. On behalf of all of our ancestors, relatives, family members who spent 2 unnecessary years in bondage, let's not waste another 2. Let us fight on until victory is won. I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Since I don't have any guest speakers this evening, I'm going to share with you GRCAM, the next phase. I watched the Black Panther movie, and I enjoy seeing black people as the main characters in this blockbuster film. I was so inspired by the Black Panther film, which made $1 billion, that I decided to go back to school and learn the ins and outs of becoming a film director and a producer, so that I can turn my revised book into a short film entitled Hood Liberator, Made in Chicago, which will be based on my revised book. I'm looking for people who are skilled with cameras, lighting, sounds, musicians, and actors. The length of the film will be 20 minutes, and the location of the film will be set in Chicago. I will display the short film at film festivals, on YouTube, and screenings until I'm able to gather sponsors who will fund the full movie. If interested in auditioning for a role in the film, just send me your email address to my Facebook inbox, my Google inbox, my LinkedIn inbox, and or to my Twitter inbox. I will give preference to those who are active group members and those who have purchased my revised book. I will post the information about our opening audition as soon as I complete my film classes. And again, I encourage all of my group members to please stand up and work with me so that way I can turn my vision into a reality. By purchasing my book, I provide the link at the under the comment section. Wakanda is a fictional place in Africa. My question to Black America: why is there not a Wakanda in our inner cities? I'm trying to create something similar to Wakanda, but the failure of Black leadership and Black organizations in America in the information age is unacceptable. To me, because for 26 years I've been reaching out to establish Black organizations in my city. And I guess since I'm not, a celebrity, and I'm not affiliated with these well-connected, I would say these political organizations and stuff like that, they're not interested in hearing my ideas, or they don't take me serious. I've been running across small-minded brothers and sisters, in person as well as online, who only complain about the white man, the government, Jews owning the media, and that Black people don't have anything. But when I tell them to work with me in creating a quote-unquote a new Black Wall Street, they stop communicating with me or remain passive spectators on my friends list and also in my groups. So this prompted me to create GRCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement, back in November of 1991 on a site called Gopher. GRCAM is a new movement in Black America in the digital age. I created this virtual organization in order to help raise awareness about the genocide which is taking place within our inner cities in America, as well as for me to connect with other like-minded individuals who share my concern to form a legitimate coalition across the United States and around the globe for my cause. Again, help stop the genocide in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. Today, GRCAM is on 300 social networks and has grown into a global movement with thousands of people, I would say, on my friends list, and part of them are in my social groups. My goal now is to turn GRCAM into a real Christian business, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. The only thing which is preventing me from starting my Christian organization is the lack of manpower and the capital. This is why I'm on social media, to get my message out to the public through my YouTube videos, my social groups, my blog postings, my online talk show, and now through my revised book and my future film. Black Lives Matter started online. The Occupy Wall Street movement, that started online. Our Lives Matter, that came about through an online organization. But what makes my organization different than those organizations is that I want mine to be based on a business, focusing on my in my old neighborhood on the west side of Chicago. I don't want to do all those protestings. African Americans have been protesting for the past 52 years. No justice, no peace. And the financial elites, that doesn't faze them at all, because that's what our grandparents used. So that method is isn't going to be that effective now. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. Since established black organizations in the city of Chicago refuse to work with me or embrace my vision to improve our inner cities, I decided to focus on 10 cities within the Midwest and some parts of the South. My Christian organization will be membership-based and private. Furthermore, we will not be under the red, black, and green flag, because that's someone else's philosophy. We will create our own flag and only work with single black families that want to utilize our programs and services. Because I can't help everybody. Everybody's not going to want to be a part of the organization, and that's fine. I want to connect with people that's interested in working with me, so that way I can deliver all the stuff which I have written in my book to those families that want to utilize our programs and services, point blank. We will take the lead to help improve our inner cities and in time expand to Africa and assist our members there, while improving the social conditions within the African slums, if given a chance. I will not start my organization until I have my management team in place first, or until I generate enough capital from my book sale or from my future film to hire qualified people to assist me with the daily operations of my business. GRCAI will raise the bar in Black America and make our presence known in high-crime urban communities, starting in the city of Chicago. GRCAI will produce leaders in the community, not followers. African Americans from the lower economic class are suffering great harm from senseless violence, high unemployment, mass incarceration, police brutality, drug abuse, high illiteracy, inadequate health care, and failing schools as a result of institutionalized racism. This is why I decided to go public with my story and again to make my organization membership based in order to weed out small-minded individuals who only want to complain or just want to be seen on my friends list. I am called by my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to rebuild our inner cities, starting here in Chicago, as well as help improve the social conditions in the African slums, similar to that of Nehemiah, who was called by God to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Nehemiah used qualified engineers, architects, bricklayers, and inventors to rebuild a new city. GRCAM is a Christian socialist organization. A Christian socialist is a form of socialism based on the teachings of Jesus. Many Christian socialists believe that capitalism is adulterous and rooted in greed, social inequality, and institutionalized racism, which most Christian denominations consider a moral sin. We will focus on what we stand for, and that is love, compassion, social justice, and liberation theology. Jesus told us to focus on the least of these in society, according to Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 through 40. He also commanded us to be witness to others, not just for us to read his word, but to activate social change in the world, according to Luke chapter 4, verse 18 through 19. We will be committed to the healing ministry of Jesus by showing compassion to inner city youth and their families, which will promote dignity to the people and the community we will serve. It's my hope that through my story or through my film, I could attract 30 black professionals or 30 middle-class black professionals within the United States who have read my story or have watched my film and who meet the criteria that I'm looking for, which are as follows. I'm looking for investors, business partners, Christian entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists. I'm also looking for legitimate film producers, actors, stage managers, grant writers, fundraisers, technical directors, marketers, accountants, business administrators, social workers, financial planners, lawyers, real estate brokers, and insurance agents. After they pass the criminal background check, I will discuss compensation and incentives with them behind closed doors. Also, you do not have to be African American. I accept non-black sympathizers that want to meet those qualifications that I'm looking for as well. However, everybody will be screened because I just want to make sure that everybody's going to be on the up and up with me. I'm on the up and up with them. So that's just how it is. Before I start my business, everybody that's going to be on my management team will be screened, and we will do that criminal background check. My team will assist me in creating both a nonprofit cooperative organization and a for-profit service-based business, which will be on the same premises in order to make my organization effective and successful for years to come, and also to gain credibility locally, nationwide, and abroad. I already have my articles of incorporation and my bylaws typed and available for my nonprofit, as well as I have my articles of organization typed and available for my for-profit service-based business. I'm seeking qualified professionals to join my team, and I'm not going to settle for less. You don't have to wait for my book to be on the bestsellers list to come forth. All I ask is that you read my story first, so that way I don't have to waste time trying to explain to you what's already in writing. And that would help us save time and focus on specific tasks. The grassroots community activist movement stands against all forms of violence, misogyny, and sexism. Black women have a voice and will be treated as equal partners. If you don't believe me, ask Sister Renee, who is my vice president. The grassroots community activist movement aims to create our own system within the dominant culture. My goal is to connect with, again, our Black middle class professionals who have the talents and skills to help turn my vision to a reality. Our mission is to work directly with single Black families who reside in high crime urban areas that want to utilize our programs and services. We will display an authentic form of Christianity. And some people might say, so what makes your organization different from other Black organizations? One is that it's based on my personal experience. That's part of it. And also it's going to be a nonprofit portion as well as a for-profit portion. Under our nonprofit cooperative, we will be in the business to serve our members, people who want to utilize our programs and services. We will reinvest in anything we make back into the cooperative to better serve our members. GRCAM, that's the name of the business, once I move it from behind this computer, believes that our members deserve honesty, compassion, and quality service. We are committed to improving the urban community through open dialogue, community advocacy, and networking. We will offer quality programs and services within the African American community, starting on the west side of Chicago, specifically Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, and then eventually expand to the south side of Chicago, as mentioned in my revised book, to various communities over there. South side is much larger than the west side. South side consists of, I believe they say, is 80% of Chicago. So that's a lot of different neighborhoods over there. But again, I want to start on the west side. First of all, that's where I would say I have my roots over there. Second of all, Dr. King, he lived in North Lawndale when he came to Chicago to fight against housing discrimination. So I'm following behind his steps in that sense. Once my organization is established in Chicago, I would declare war on this Willie Lynch mentality within the Black culture. None of my members will ever have to, endure such unnecessary humiliation just for trying to do something positive in the Black community. Again, it's just seeing like people want me to beg them to work with me and all that stuff or buy the book. I just want to connect with people that want to truly do something positive for the community. First, read my story so that way I can generate capital, so I can hire the qualified people, so that way I can do my job. Again, I'm not asking for no donations. I just want to be taken seriously as an author first, because right now GRCAM only exists online, and again, it's needed in our communities. I want to make Chicago a model first before we expand to 10 other cities throughout the Midwest. Once I have African immigrants within the United States in place, we will expand to 10 countries in Africa. We're going to replicate what we're doing here in America and bring that over there. In other words, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago will operate under 5 separate functions within the African American community. We will have a social service component, a spiritual component, which is going to be optional for secular people, a political component, an entertainment component, and an entrepreneur component. GRCAM's mission: to eradicate urban violence. That's the main thing through our programs and services. We want to tackle poverty within our urban communities, structural inequality, institutionalized racism. We want to deal with that up front and deal with police brutality within the communities and cities we will serve if given a chance. We also want to strengthen single black families while at the same time meet the social needs of the community by having programs for our youth and trying to keep people safe, because right now everything is a lot of drama. We also want to provide an infrastructure for our aspiring artists and upcoming black entrepreneurs or black Christian entrepreneurs. We want to provide private employment to our members based on our budget and sponsorship through stipends and things like that. We also want to offer a second chance program for ex-offenders for nonviolent crimes, former gang members who truly denounce their gang affiliations, and homeless individuals. We want to develop equal partnerships with community residents who become members. We want to form a new black Wall Street and accelerate black business creation, and form a cooperative alliance beyond the black community, so that way other communities can patronize us and we can try to work together instead of all this competitiveness that's taking place. We want to be able to draw participation from local residents and tourists, which will help have a positive impact in our community, which will also strengthen our community as well. But we got to get that negativity stuff out of there. We want people to feel safe. People don't want to go to a high crime urban war zone. So we have to deal with that. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute objective is to become the urban voice through our films, documentaries, and we want to target the African American audience and others who are interested in Christian, inspirational, and family-oriented entertainment. We also want to open a new frontier for our global, on a global level, to millions of viewers who look beyond the mainstream media for our entertainment purposes, and also for our people that's, I would say, international, people that's in Africa. We want to have a market for them there, help improve those countries in Africa. So that's why I'm saying international on that level. We hope that this will help bring about a better world through all this stuff that I'm talking about. GRCAM's aim is to provide quality programs and services in early childhood education, daycare, and adult daycare all year round. We'll focus on improving our students' academics, reclaim our culture from hardened criminals, and provide recreational programs that support single black families and individuals of all ages. GRCAM will host seminars and workshops which will focus on the music industry, fashion, our films, stage plays, comedy, dancing, and much more. GRCAM will aim is to unite small black businesses and medical institutions in order for us to display the latest products and services. GRCAM will offer opportunities for companies seeking to engage with the African American consumers in multiple markets. In time, GRCAM will unite the African businesses to the global market, which it's going to improve our communities, but we also want to project the best of black culture. So people that's doing positive things, those are the things that we want to project, in our films and documentaries and in our business. But again, I'm just one black man with a plan and a vision. It takes a team to make a dream work. GRCAM is a global community of thinkers and builders. I need your help to move GRCAM from behind a computer. I believe this act of human collaboration across an open platform is essential to the low African American community and our collective survival. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute, again, will be private in order for us to weed out quote-unquote fake blacks and others who don't care about improving the social conditions of the black community, our inner city youth, or their families. Okay, so half of GRCAM will be a nonprofit cooperative and will be governed by an advisory board. I talk about that in the book, so just trying to emphasize that. GRCAM will be membership based and operated for the mutual benefit of our members. Any earnings we make will be returned to our members in the forms of lower prices through our quality programs and services under our nonprofit. For-profit, we under capitalism. I'm going to pay my employees, so and also me and Sister Renee, we have to make a living too. So that's why we're going to have two businesses. The for-profit, we're just going to be competing just like everyone else. But at least the non-for-profit cooperative, that would be for the community that's those in the community who are members of GRCAM. And also that's going to be under something called the Green Zone. I'm not going to talk about all that stuff right now because this is a lot of information to take in. But right now, it's all about me just doing my best to communicate, to encourage people to read my story. So that way I can move GRCAM to the next phase. Our members come first, and we will be committed to providing trust and understandable information to our members. We will work towards keeping our members healthy, informed, and safe. Yes, we're gonna make sure that we have, because I'm from the inner cities, I know how it is there. I'm gonna make sure that we have our security and protocol in place. Again, everyone will be screened and must attend our mandatory orientation and sign the community pledge, no exceptions. No hardened criminals, no active gang members, and no urban terrorists, no pedophiles, and no half-steppers allowed in my organization. This is how I get down. The Chi is open to all ordinary law-abiding citizens, all racial groups, and undiscovered artists. This is my contribution back to my community, society, and throughout the African diaspora. Again, I'm doing the best that I can to encourage people that's on my friends list to participate on my podcast. It gives you an opportunity to advertise your products and services. I don't charge for that, and I'm going to do the same thing when I actually start my business. I'm going to give people that's been my active group members, an opportunity to come to participate in our live events where you can interact with our members in person and promote your products and services here in the city of Chicago. And again, if you want me to come to Africa, my international friends, well then please work with me, even if you cannot afford the $15 for the softcover book or the $9.99 for the ebook. Even if you can't afford that, you can still encourage people on your friends list to read my story. Encourage them to send me a friend request on Facebook, and encourage them to join my international friends group, E-Block, or the Brains of Africa. Again, I'm doing the best that I can, and I want to try to use this new technology wisely. I'm not on here trying to debate with people and stuff like that. People are entitled to their opinions, and I'm not going to try to, be a fast talker. I like to take my time and let people know that this is real. And again, just like the Word of God, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God and is God, and the Word became flesh. I believe that my vision can become a reality. Wakanda, that's nice. Everybody, I don't say a lot of African Americans patronized that movie. They went to go see it. It was a feel-good movie. You know what I'm saying? But it all boils down to, that was just fictional. This is real right here. I have my plan in writing. So there is a solution. But again, I want to make sure I have qualified people to help me. That's going to be on my management team to help turn this into a reality. Going to start, like I said, on the west side of Chicago, the communities that I'm familiar with, and that's all. It's sad again. Before I end this podcast, I do want to say yes, that's sad about what happened to those people that those two brothers at Starbucks. They was just sitting there waiting for someone, and they ended up being arrested because, I would just say that cashier or the person that works there, the manager, she felt uncomfortable about two black men being in that upscale community. Now just imagine, if we just would build up our businesses and patronize what's, the black businesses and stuff like that, then you wouldn't experience stuff like that. You don't have to go through that subtle racism like that. But this is America, and African Americans need to wake up and see that, yes, it's in writing that, everyone is treated equally, but we see time and time again that social inequality, racial inequality, discrimination still exists. So I don't understand why is it taking me 26 years to find qualified people to work with me if we see these problems constantly happening in our communities and it's up on the news. So you see that what I'm saying is actually going on. It's a reflection of our society. The GRCAM is needed. So now, if I can get African immigrants to work with me, that's cool. If Black Americans don't want to step up and work with me in the inner cities, that's fine. I'll reach out to my African immigrants. But we gotta have Black people involved in this business because this is to help Black people. Strengthen the Black family. That's all I'm saying. And I'm doing, again, this is, I'm just doing my calling with my assignment, the best that I can. I don't like writing all these posts. I'm not doing this stuff for my health. I want to get this organization up and running so that way I can eventually get this organization on the African continent where people are going through 10 times worse than what we're going through here in the inner cities. Yes, it's bad, but it's just as worse there. They don't have all those opportunities that we have here in America in terms of the resources. And I want to bring those type of resources to my African brothers and sisters. So I need you guys, like I say, to work with me and share my information with your families and friends that's over there. Stand up. Stand up, Chicago. Right now, Chicago is considered one of the murder capitals in America. That's not good. My organization want to change that. We want to go to those high crime, gang and drug infested communities. Bring in those resources and work with the youth that want to be part of the solution. Encourage gang members to put down their gang affiliation and become part of the solution. That's what my organization is about. And that's what I'm trying to do this film. For people to reach the masses that, that don't like to read. This is not a game for me. This is real. This is the legacy that I'm trying to build and pass on. Peace and blessings.